1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3.
Jump with me. Jump us with me. Oh, with me.
Hold on, guys. Sorry about that.
One, 2, 3.
Jump with me. Jump us with me. Oh, with me. King. Such fun. Jump with me. Jump us with me. Jump. Oh, with me.
Great big hit on play. Lecture on great big hit on play. Music and good vibes. Great big hit on play. Lecture on great big hit on play. Music each day.
Jump with me. Jump us with me. Oh, with me. King. Such fun. With me. One jump us with me. Jump. Oh, with me.
On play. Lecture on music each day is a dub. It's just on play. Lecture on just on play. Music each day useful and fun. I think we got it.
When green. Dee-dee-doo. Doo-doo. Big bird.
Just
Great time on Sesame Street.
also
Pepper wonder. Two and two.
P-O-G.
his birds on play. His birds his birds on play. Music each day is a dub. It's his birds on play. His birds his birds on play. Music each day is a dub. It's
What do you think?
Well, it's not the kind of music that old Willie Shakespeare here used to write.
Oh well. Bye-bye.
Well, it was a sort of good start. I don't know what happened at the beginning there, but hey, we got hey, it was worth a shot.
you know.
It was worth a shot.
That's
It's
right.
the technical difficulties. At least everything else still works. You know, like the sink's out, the refrigerator's done, but the bulb's still on. So there you go.
There it is. Yeah, I like that, man. That was actually really catchy. That
Yeah,
bring back
that-
some memories from my childhood, you know.
That's a little pogo right there, and people can find his channel. I left the link down in the description below, so you can press on it and go to his channel. And he has a bunch of different stuff, Disney stuff, this and that stuff. I have a whole kaleidoscope of his stuff on here. So, but anyway, hello everyone. This is Darachat. I know it was a bit of a bump at the beginning. I don't know what happened. It just like froze, I'm just like, what's going on? But it's whatever. Anyway, glad you're all here. Obviously, I know what you're all here for. You're here for the bearded man. Look at that beard. Can you say no to that? I couldn't say no to that, but I didn't see him bring any tablets down from the mountaintop, so kind of have to say that. But anyway, my name is Daramouthe, or Dara for short. Obviously, because people can't say Daramouthe very well, I've heard Daramouthe a lot, and obviously the silent E at the end is not taught in the English language anymore. So there's that, unfortunately. But anyway, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. And you know, the night is still young. I might actually bring some tablets down. You never know. Who knows? But yeah, things have been going all right.
What was that, Lord? Yeah. No, not 10, but 15. Okay, I'm coming.
That's right. We missed a couple, you know. I think one of them in there had something to do with pineapple and pizza. I don't know.
Hey, whoa, hey.
Hey, I like it. A lot of people don't.
Hey, yeah, well, that's true, but pizza's pizza, man. Make it how you want. All right. All this talk about the pineapple and the pizza is horrendous and all stuff. Look, if you put bacon with it, it's just as good.
Yeah, that's right. Pineapple and ham, it's a really, really good combination.
I did try Philly steak on there once, because some places will do, like Domino's will have their Philly steak pizza thing, whatever. So they do like the meat part of it. It's all right. I mean, it's not the greatest combination, but it still works. But you got to have your sweet and salty. That's the real king of here. It's the sweet and salty of it, because Lord knows that there's only so many pizza places you could try before you're like, I gotta set this one up, kids. Daddy's
right. Right. You know.
Daddy needs to sit down for a while. It's not gonna be good.
That's right. Man, we've got a lot of really great local places around here that aren't chains. And I feel bad for people that don't live around here that have never tried Joe's Pizza or Ha-Ha's Pizza. Man, it's so good. It's like you go out to Hippie Town. There's a Hippie Town about maybe 20 miles from here. And they have it's a pizza shop that's right on the edge of a state park. And it is so good. It is hard to describe how good it is. You can get like a whole wheat pizza crust. Oh, it's so good. Man, I'm going to have to go back out there again before they close down for the season.
Oh, good. Oh, so they're only open seasonally.
Right.
Oh, okay. Right. That sucks when you can go to a place only for seasons. Like, hey, but you're inside. You're indoors. Indoors.
Right.
It's like those ice cream places that have a seating thing, and then they said we're going to close in November. It's like, you're indoors. There's a seat right there.
Right. What are you thinking?
What are you thinking? The money is there. Just keep open.
Well, I think it has something to do with driving up demand, like what Disney used to do when they used to put movies in the vault for a while. Yeah. They'd bring them back out, and then everybody would go and buy them real fast.
Yes, it's sort of like when you give out weed cookies for free and just wanting to see what happens.
Well, you know. PTA meeting, like.
You can imagine, it's like, so why is everyone looking around like that? I don't understand what's going on. Hey,
no more cookies, man. Sorry, that's all I brought.
No, there was an episode of I used to watch that show, that 70s show, and there was an episode where that's right, they went to a restaurant, and slowly over time, you did it on the
wrong one. Yeah, I know.
They went to a restaurant, and slowly, one by one, the friend group started like dine and dash, so to speak. And what ended up happening is that Eric and Donna were left behind, having to pay for the bill.
Right, because everybody else dashed. Yeah,
everybody still dashed. But at the end, they get in the basement, they kind of gather together, and they said, you know what, the peace offering. They do peace offering. They do a bunch of brownies, right? I don't know if it was him or Donna who made them or whatever. Said, here, you know what? We understand why you did it, so here you go. Here's some brownies. They'll pass them around, whatever, and of course they don't take me for themselves. And come to find out, those brownies are laced with a little thing we call laxative.
That's right.
And when the beat drops, Everyone's going for that bathroom. Everyone's trying to
That's right.
pile on each other, trying to get up the stairs.
I love that one. That's a good one. I also like the one where Kitty and Red do their thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
you see like the wall behind him moving odd
Right.
things. It's like
Hilarious, dude. Yeah, Red reminds me of my dad a lot. Like a lot,
Really?
a lot. Except my dad wasn't a vet. That's like
Oh.
the big difference between the two. Yeah. But he looks like him, he acts like him, he talks like him. Like Red is
How
my
about
dad.
my foot up your butt?
Yeah, that's right.
And the funny thing was that Kurt, trying to remember his name, Kurtwood Smith. That's right. Kurtwood Smith actually played in the first RoboCop.
Yeah.
So that was when I learned now. It's like, wait a second. So is he different? Well, he has a little more hair. He has a little more hair than he does in this show.
Right. You know. But yeah, seriously, and the whole time I was watching that 70s show, that's exactly where my brain went the whole time. Like RoboCop, that guy, he was the one with the shotgun that actually blew his hand off.
Oh goodness, that was brutal. They could get brutal with the effects back in the day. Right now, it's sort of like, because I went and YouTube had, they have movies and stuff which you could rent or buy or whatever, and there's this group I follow called Djibouti Dubs, and they do a movie commentary, but they only have the audio track of them doing the commentary of the movie. You don't see the movie, you don't hear the movie, you just hear them do the track over it. So what they do is they do their thing over it, but if you sync it with them, you can get that sort of commentary track over the movie itself. Like they had a bunch of different ones. Yeah. So that was pretty fun. But they did one for RoboCop, and
Nice.
it was just And I saw the new RoboCop one too, and I'd never seen the old one. I was just that's a little too much. Like you see the lungs and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. And not only that, but they have guys like melting at certain points and from chemical exposure. Yeah, it's
that was
it's pretty brutal.
That was hey, I'm not hey, young lady, knock it off. There are no questions about weed cookies, okay? I didn't see any questions. All right, don't be putting stuff out there that ain't true, because I didn't see no questions.
Awesome.
But yes, the Djibouti Dubs is great. They did some of like the Kathy Mitchell stuff, the red copper pan or something like that.
Right, I'd buy that for $1.
Or there's some dubs they did of Guy Fieri and his stuff. That's hilarious.
Nice. Isn't his name like Fieri, but it's spelled Fieri?
It's Fieri. Fieri.
Right.
But I don't.
One of those names that doesn't sound like it's spelled right.
It's sort of like a homonym, right? It sounds similar, but doesn't spell the same. I don't know. It is what it is. What's up, FN2 Army? Oh my goodness, FN2 Army. Whoa. But yeah, it's just I enjoy their stuff, and I kind of listen to it when I'm at work, because I can't really watch something that's kind of pushing the line there.
I'm a big fan of movies and commentary and finding out things about behind the scenes stuff. I love all that kind of stuff. I was a big fan of the Mystery Science 3000, Mystery Science Theater 3000. You know what I'm talking about, right? But that whole where they just sit there and talk over it the whole time and make it hilarious. I love that.
Yeah, usually the old movies though, because public domain stuff and all that. And even then, I mean, there were some people I knew who got in trouble on YouTube because they did public domain. So, but that's YouTube rules, right? YouTube is sort of like that vast wasteland of stuff, and the rules are overly complicated, not applied evenly, and just you could get in trouble for whatever. So there you go.
Right. Well, if you think that's difficult, try navigating the whole music copyright thing.
Oh, good.
Oh,
well,
man, that's a pain.
I found a sort of way though that you can legally have mainstream music on your thing. It's just you have to buy a license and stuff. And there's a place called licked.co, and because I was researching like, okay, well, if I wanted to do like mainstream music, I would need where's the legal way, right? Because people try to do the whatever way, and I'm just like, let's just do this legal thing. Hopefully there's something there, and there is. And full Hold on. I'll just
say I put out 2 copywritten albums with my son, Not Quite Sane and Not Quite Insane. Yeah, right. And yeah, both of those were copywritten, and we had Zach's had us on his channel for the album drop night, and he played all of our songs and was copywritten or copyright claimed, not struck but claimed for each individual song. That was a pain. I couldn't get my distributor to drop it, and it was just a pain.
Yeah, the pogo stuff I still get a content ID on, but nothing in trouble. I did get one stream restricted to 18 plus, so there's that. But that was mostly because I was doing my pay it forward stream, and so I go through different live streams on ablip.com. I go through different live streams on the Rumble side, and someone was watching like a cop takedown or something. It wasn't really bloody or violence, whatever. Just they put him on the ground, arrested him, all this stuff. YouTube deemed that too much. So it got restricted to 18. So I made a playlist saying restricted by YouTube. So if any more get restricted by YouTube, guess what? I'm just gonna point people. Hey, guess what? Look what YouTube did. But it is what it is. I tried fighting the appeal. It didn't do anything. It's like little cool. No, the funny thing was that the first timestamp they gave me was incorrect because nothing violence or anything was happening at that timestamp, and I said nothing's happening here, but at this 49-minute mark there, looks like a cop's taking down. Guess what they came back with me with? At minute mark 48:58, there's violence there. I'm like, I just gave you the 49-minute mark. You just took 2 seconds off.
Right. Freaking weirdos. See, that's why I would rather just restrict all my stuff to 18 plus myself, because I don't want a bunch of 14-year-olds hanging out with me anyway. Like, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I have enough kids as it is. They're annoying. I love them to death. They can just take their friends and go hang out somewhere else, But I'm not trying to do that to your channel. So, hello out there, and make sure you do your homework.
I don't care as much. It's the simple fact of it is when people come on, like, oh, what are we allowed to say? Was just don't do any game words. That's it. Oh, you can curse all you want. Just don't do the game words. I'm fine with everything else. Because Lord knows that I'm not on one place, right? So while I understand a lot of people are on YouTube, and I get it, I've heard that same thing many times before. Guess what, kids? YouTube is not. I'm an 18 plus channel. Well, John, there you go. Go for John.
Yeah, it's just easier that way. That you have less I's to dot or less T's to cross, I think. For me, but then again, I'm not trying to get monetized, so I know it's a different fight out there. Trying to deal with the algorithm and titles and thumbnails and all that.
It's the weird thing, but anyway, I'm on multiple platforms because if something were to happen, like with the thing in YouTube, I can say, "You think that's gonna do anything to me?" and stuff like that. When you can laugh at when you have more platforms than when you have enough platforms. And one of those platforms does something to you, you can just sit there and laugh and say, "You think you got me?"
Right. I guess I'll be over here now, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'll still use you guys. I'll still treat you like the whore you are, but I'm not going to be stopped by this. Which makes it sound worse when you add the whore part to it, because it makes you sound like I'm getting a little in there. But no, I don't advocate for that. Come on, guys. Hang out with 40-year-olds. Hey, let me just remind you, Dax, you were once a 14-year-old, so you were torturous as yourself. So
yeah, I was crazy annoying as a 14-year-old. I don't know how my dad put up with me, to be honest. Man was a saint.
Well, sometimes your parents just learn that to have a little patience and have a little love may actually work, or there's something called a belt. But anyway,
that too. My dad had a board that he got us with, and he used to call it the Board of Education. And I'm not making that up. That's what he called it. Sorry, I didn't mean to drop it there.
You just sit there and think about it. It's like, that's pretty funny. That's a wordplay right there. I get you. Yeah. I'm like the first Avengers where Captain America is like, I got that reference. I got it.
Hey, I don't know.
I'm still torturous now, Dax. Look, we don't need to go into it. We don't need to get into it.
Well, it's
It's
only
okay.
because you're a furry. But,
Yeah, well, it's true. Dara says naughty words. I've accidentally said naughty words. Once I was trying to do a Sean Connery impression, and I tried to say the word sit. I didn't come out that way.
Yeah.
So there you go for that one. But anyway, this is the website I wanted to show. This one is licked. lickd.co, and you can buy a license and go play all these mainstream music, also unlimited royalty free tracks and all stuff. It was a long time when I was trying to look for it. There was different places, but then I came across this one. I was like, this is insane, because one, you get a license, all that stuff, and then of course they have their own software where if something happens, on YouTube, whatever, they'll take care of it. And even if that doesn't get it, you can always bring it to them and be like, all right, well, we'll see. But yeah, I was found it's like, yeah, this is pretty awesome. And
yeah, nice, good looking out. I'll have to look into that. I may drop some of my stuff on there and see if I can, get a little something.
Well, I'll here we go. Here's the link, so both sides can come and see it themselves. There you go.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yes, I found it by pure just research and yeah, I haven't tried it myself because money. But yeah, it's still nice to have the so. And that was my other thing too, is like, well, where's something for movies, right? Because people try to do this whole spiel with movies and trying to watch and not say anything and whatever. At the end of the day, though, I'm like, well, what if you could have a license for that movie, and you can only stream it maybe once or twice or however many they let you, and then after that you're really just having the license for like the replay value, right? But that's always dependent on future stuff, because protectiveness and all that. But
agreed. Yeah, because if it was my IP, I would want somebody to protect my interests. You know what I mean? So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But when you can have something where you can buy a license and say, okay, I have a license, they got their site taken care of for good, that's what I'd like to see more of, rather than just a stifling thing that YouTube has. Because yes, it costs money, but guess what, kids? So does everything else in life. Guess what, kids? That phone you have costs a lot of money.
That's right. And if you're getting something for free, like an app, you are what is being sold. Your information. Your things like that.
Technically, that's what YouTube is.
Exactly.
If anyone doesn't think that YouTube is their own as a data mine for Google,
yeah, right?
Who doesn't think some of you people, some of you guys will, don't like the AI stuff. Guess what? It's being used for AI. It's funny when you hear that stuff. It's like, I don't, and it's mostly on the when you go to Twitter X stuff, right?
Yeah.
You see these, you see the artists and all this stuff. I'm like, guys, if it's appearing on Google, it's too late.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah.
I
agree.
When when you're trying to look up something like an image or something, whatever, you do realize those images come from a reference from different websites, right? Did you give them permission to post that on their search engine?
Don't know. You did when you clicked on it. When you skip past that EULA that you didn't read. Yeah. Right.
the thing that no one reads and just says yes to because it's so long.
Agreed. That's the TLDR, right?
TLDR.
Right already. It's far too late for that. Like the people who were upset about facial recognition software, it's like you realize that if you're on any social media that they have that already. If you've ever broadcast your face on YouTube or any place like that, they've got it. Just period. Like, it's far too late.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing too for that is nowadays some websites are having you take a picture with your ID. Twitter X, you have to take a picture with your ID to get that monetization. And I mean, they're not the only website. So no, actually, you know what? And the funny thing is, YouTube does too, right? So here's the thing. When I was first starting out, I couldn't post links in the description. I had to do this whole verification thing, right? They gave you 3 options, which was fine. You had to do a certain amount of videos per month or whatever.
Yeah.
However, there was another way where you could license and your or face whatever, and have a quicker way of doing that. But eventually I had to do it because I was tired of just waiting to do like, you know, the whole thing. So I had to do it. So if you had to do it for YouTube, guess what, kids? Too late. Too late. If you want to crash the internet, go on Google Translate and English equals German keywords. What? No comprende, senor. But yeah, it's just a weird thing. I get it. I get the whole for not for, but the problem of it is once the technology's out there, it is too late. Or
Yeah.
it's not too late, but it's late enough that you're gonna have to start running faster. Because technology, if I don't know if anyone knows, but there's a thing called Moore's law, which is that a transistor will double over each year, right?
Mm.
And so you have these things called smartphones, right? And the first cell phone was nothing but a black.
Right. They were giant, man. They had like big old antennas on the end of them and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, cell phones were inspired by from Star Trek.
Right.
That's the funny part of it.
But then didn't they talk with their badge thing on their chest, or was that New Generation?
I think they did both. I think they did. I think they did both, but they still use the tricorder thing,
Right.
for all that stuff.
Yeah,
So,
the flip phone, the clam, or whatever.
yeah, it's funny. You used to have a flip phone, right? You just do it and whatever, and you'd have something similar. But nowadays, there's really not much of a flip phone. It's unless you go like cheap, right?
Right.
Some places off like the flip phone, or a cheap amount. I can't remember. But yeah, it's been so long since I had a flip phone, and the new phones you have to be careful of, because if you drop it and it hits the wrong way.
Oh yeah, it's just over. And I got a Moto, and it is like the worst phone I've ever had. It is just terrible. But I've had it for like 5 years. Man, I got drunk at a concert and went into the mosh pit and dropped it on the ground, and it got stepped on and slid around the floor and everything. It has a couple cracks on it, and that's it. That's it. Just two little tiny cracks at the top, one at the bottom. Thing's a freaking tank.
I knew some people took a one of those handheld Nokia ones, and they were shooting arrows at it, and it would not break. So
Man.
Yeah, there was some
like that's either a testament to the phone or an anti-testament to that bow.
Well, he wasn't pulling it back too hard.
Right.
No. Well, I saw them try to do the same thing to a Nalgene bottle, and that took a while.
Right.
But yeah, it's.
Did you ever shoot a bow when you were a kid?
Yeah, I was at a camp. I was at a camp that allowed to do that. They had different activities. Like there was a shooting gallery, or shooting range, whichever you want to call it.
Like archery range or like shooting range?
Both.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Good.
So and they weren't too, and the funny thing was they weren't too far from each other. So there's a by a lake.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the walkway right here, and then you have the archway over here. Hey, Airstream.
Hello.
How you doing? You had the archway over here, and then you had the shooting range over here. So you had them at an angle off, but it was right over this way. And they were just like the regular hunting rifles, like, once you have to reload them manually, like
right,
all that stuff,
like a breech loader.
All I remember is it's a hunting rifle, but you'd have to pull like a ball end on it. You have to turn it up, pull it back, take out the bullet, reload the bullet in, close it, and then shut it down and all that stuff. There's like a safety latch on it, but I mean, I don't know if they call them a.
Right.
I just thought they were called a hunting rifle, to be honest, but they were used a shooting range, so they might have a different name. But I think
any rifle you used to hunt with could technically be called a hunting rifle, but it sounds like you're describing a bolt action.
Yeah, bolt. It was a bolt action. Yeah, because you had to manually.
Right.
Because it's not like a magazine or whatever. You'd have to literally open it up, empty out the bullet and all stuff. And the bullets were nothing more than they had like a copper end, and just pour right in.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
Did we
all
say hi
this-
to Whitey? What's up, Whitey? How you doing?
Hey, it's been a long time, Whitey. How you doing? Oh, that's the wrong one.
That's right.
But yeah, it's an interesting time to go back over those things. But I've never hunted before. I've never done the deer thing or whatever. I'm just it would not go well, because then you're like, okay, now here's the knife, now skin. It's like,
Right. Well,
okay.
at least field dress, like right there on the spot, because I mean it can ruin the meat, and it makes it a lot lighter to carry, and yeah, it's not for everybody. Certainly, definitely not for people who aren't good with gore. We'll say.
Yeah, well, definitely.
Right.
And that's the worst. And for me, that's the worst thing about horror movies is that that's their mostly the time horror movies rely on gore a lot. And Senior Dempsey.
That's right. Whitey's my dude.
Oh, I'm just waiting here to say, I'll return soon.
Got to the chopper.
Yeah, get to the chopper. Hey, but wait a second. Can you stop and buy this gold from this company? Yeah. Arnold,
Nice.
I didn't know you were selling gold. I only sell gold because the silver is so low. Oh man.
That's awesome.
I could.
But yeah, I'm with you on that. I think a lot of horror movies lean too much into the gore part, and that's, for me, that was never what it was about. Like, the special effects of it are cool, but when you're using CGI, I think it's less cool. It's more cheap to me, personally. I've seen CGI augmented practical effects that you can't tell the difference between reality and those things. But when you're constantly going to the gore part, like the later Saw movies did,
Yeah.
I just kind of lose me on that. I'm not really into that, or the movies that rely on jump scares, where it's not scary. Like, you just blew my eardrums out. Like, that doesn't scare me. Some things jump out of nowhere, and it's like, I mean, I saw that coming a mile away. There's no need to blow my eardrums out too.
I'll take jump scares over gore any day, and I will tell you a few movies that relied on jump scares, but they also relied on suspense as well, and some thriller aspects. Like one of the ones I liked that did have a little blood in it, but not too much, was Megan by Blumhouse.
Yeah,
that was a pretty good one. That was sort of because a while back they did the Renew Chucky sort of thing, right? Instead of it was voodoo, it was AI, and of course that got pretty gory too.
Yeah, that was all rightish.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mark Hamill did a pretty good at voicing. Gore's okay if done right. I still would disagree. Gore is not. Gore, you can do when you can leave it up to the imagination, and the imagination can do more than what you would show.
Yeah,
I think that's a lot better.
Well, agreed. Like the first Jaws movie.
I didn't.
Yeah, well, in the first Jaws movie, I mean, like, one of the reasons why it's so epic, they had problems with the shark itself, so they couldn't really get a lot of shots of it on camera, which ended up accidentally making this movie more epic because you had to fill in the gaps with your mind.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. I mean, your imagination will definitely fill in the blanks. But then there's some movies that do it all right, like Event Horizon, for example. In Event Horizon, there was a lot of gore in that, but it wasn't like over the top amounts of gore. It was just enough, I think, to get their point across. Yeah.
And White Bear says, I feel like they stopped being scary in 2000 for me. Last time I got scared of a movie was when Henry Winkler got stabbed in Scream 1. I was like, yeah, I'm good. Well, also, don't forget, Henry Winkler got stung by a lot of bees and Little Nicky. Yes, so there's that.
Nicky.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, it's not a horror movie, though. That's more of like comedic.
That's a comedy, yeah.
It's more comedic. Yeah. But yeah, there are a few movies like the Megan, Five Nights at Freddy's, of course. That was.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Was that good?
I saw it like 3 to 4 times. It's subjective. Good is subjective to the individual user. Indeed. And while I enjoyed it, and I've seen the whole, the thing of Five Nights at Freddy's start, go over. It's 10 years. Five Nights at Freddy's has been around for 10 years.
Right.
And the funniest thing is that one of the scariest jump scare games, well, not scariest, but one of the scariest long-living jump scare games was developed and created by a Christian,
Right.
Scott Cawthon.
Right.
And the story is he used to be a manager at, he used to be doing it for a while, but he used to be a manager at General Dollar, or Dollar General. And he took a risk and he did something scary, and it worked. 10 years, and he's gotten a movie out of it.
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah, with some big name people in it.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
as far as the YouTube scene goes, big name people were in that.
They did, but they didn't have the king of Five Nights at Freddy's in it, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but that was a scheduling
You know, I heard
issue.
a lot about that. Man, my kids were bummed about that. My kids were all in on that movie. They were all in on that game. They would watch the streams and everything. They were all in on Five Nights at Freddy's. FNAF.
Yeah,
Sorry,
FNAF.
FNAF. Right.
Yeah, FNAF is fine. The thing with Markiplier not being in it is because of the scheduling conflict. Because he was filming for a movie, or he's filming for a movie that's a game called Iron Lung, and I don't even know if it's out yet, but that's that, and all that stuff. But hopefully for the second one, because it did so well, I think it tripled what it actually spent to make the movie, right? So you have the Jim Henson Company actually making the animatronics, right? And
that's a win.
That I was like, they got to work with them, because there's no way it would work. They've been the I mean, of course there's Disney, but that's a little different. Disney and the Jim Henson Company are the only two things I know they've done well with animatronics, because they've worked puppetry animatronics, right?
Right.
And there was some gore to it, right? A body got split in half and all this and stuff, but they did it in a way that it wasn't beyond the scope, it wasn't long, and it worked. Now, again, subjective, good is subjective, is that sort of thing. So I saw it a few times, mostly because I've known the FNAF thing for a long time.
Right.
But I enjoyed watching the movie. There were some bits and pieces here, yeah, sure, but knowing Scott Cawthon and Blumhouse, which we did this with, because then again, going back to Megan, that's what led me and wanting to watch, because of course Blumhouse has like the Insidious and all these other ones.
Right.
But when you do a movie, again, has more to the imagination than the gore thing, right? Because, man, there were some brutal moments in Megan. That was some heavy stuff. But in FNAF, there was some heavy stuff too, but they played it just right, because again, it was PG-13. Exactly. And horror on a level does not always make a lot of money on the R-rated scheme. Yes.
Makes sense. Yeah. I would agree with that. And then there was another, like, basically a rip-off of that called Willy's Wonderland with Nick Cage.
Yeah, it's well, I don't know if I'd call it a rip-off, but I mean, it's sort of that. I mean,
like showbiz Chuck E. Cheese inspired animatronics that are possessed, like
satanically, yeah.
Right.
I was like, there was no satanic ritual in Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't think Scott Cawthon would come that far.
Right. That'd
have been like a little too much. But yeah, it's just insane, and I look forward to the second one. Hopefully we'll see what comes of it. But I'm just not into the gore faction of horror, and I don't really. You have suspense, you have thriller, you have stress, you have jump scares, you have a lot of things you can work with, and just like like
Terrifier. It's like
Terrifier, Michael, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. There's a lot of stuff you can work with. Because I just Chucky, especially Chucky. But yeah, it's for me, horror's not a big thing, but there are a few exceptions I will make for. And, Will that's right. Willy's Wonderland. Yeah. Well, I mean, not Nicolas Cage beating up animatronics. I mean, why not?
Right. I mean, Nicolas Cage beating up anybody's pretty good. Like, I don't know. I like him. He's one of my favorite actors to watch, because he's just so wild.
Yeah.
Guy's crazy. But yeah, I would have to agree with Philip over here talking about arachnophobia And
Oh, yeah, I remember
Arachnophobia
that.
was one of those movies that made me feel weird when I get done watching it. I just did a thing about Arachnophobia with Jacob Ironside on his channel, and I went into depth into it behind the scenes and the interviews, the making ofs, and all that stuff. And wow, like some of the things that they had those people do, I don't think I could do. Like they had a guy hanging upside down, and they put a mask over his face and dumped a bunch of spiders down a funnel into the mask. So he had actual spiders crawling all over his face. No thanks. No, thank you. I'll just be over here where there aren't any spiders, and I'll set that room on fire.
The flamethrower! Flamethrower!
Right. Kill it with fire. End it with fire. End it with fire. Sorry.
Oh,
But yeah, yes. Yeah,
Oh,
Grudge
goodness.
was all right. I liked The Grudge. That was not too terrible. It was one of those, I saw it after The Ring. So the whole time I was watching it, it made me think of The Ring,
Yeah.
which I guess would be Ringu was the one I saw first. And then I saw the American version, The Ring. Then I saw the Japanese version of The Grudge. Then I saw The Grudge. They were all just, the American remakes were actually pretty good. And surprisingly so, because that's not usually the case with things like that. So
Yeah. Again, it's the horror category is just not too big on. Usually I'm more like, that person, it's night, it's winter, it's a big lake, it's freezing out. You kind of like that person, like, you're just tiptoeing over there in case you don't want to fall through.
right.
That's sort of me with Thor. I mean, I'm more maybe actiony, maybe a sucker
action.
for a rom-com once in a while.
Right.
All the good
Well,
stuff.
then, if you like action but not too much horror, how do you feel about Aliens? The second movie, Aliens. Yeah.
I've never seen the Aliens. I know I've seen the games, right? Alien Isolation, all that stuff.
Right.
I after a while it kind of gets tedious. It's sort of like the Halloween movies, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. After a while, it kind of gets stale.
Yeah,
because you're taking it on too long, right? There was a series, the Leprechaun series, right? There's like 7 to 8 different movies of it. I think after 4, and this doesn't have to stick with horror either, right? You have many movies that, like Shrek, right? Shrek has gone to like 5 on 4, I think 5 movies now.
Right. Like, yeah, I've got this. This is the 8 movie collection, and that's not even all of them.
That's way too much.
Right.
Couldn't get into the ring. Just seemed really lame to me. Well, you know what? Don't look under your bed at night. That's all I'm gonna say.
7 days.
7 days.
7 days.
Yeah. Well, no, I enjoyed it better when it was in the scary movie category, though. That was.
Yeah, right. Right. Scary movie is basically just the same movie as Scream. Like, and I mean that by Scream didn't take itself seriously up until like the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
So I had a really hard time being scared by the movie Scream. I was sitting there the whole time, like they're very self-aware, making meta humor jokes. Like, how is that scary? They're like, oh, better follow these rules. And okay. And they did the same thing with Zombieland, where there was the rule set up and they were not taking the movie very seriously up until the last couple minutes of the movie. And it's like, what, pick a tone here, guys. What are you going for?
Yeah. And the thing of it is I think the first 2 were pretty good, but it just started to go downhill after that because, again, the Wayans brothers sort of helped make that movie, right? Sean and
right.
And it's funny enough, they're supposed to be coming back to do more of those,
nice.
the scary movies, and because that's what they're really good at, being comedic, but comedic horror, I would say, I think is whatever that term is, or black. I don't know if it's black comedy, because black comedy is sort of like dark humor, sort of like
right.
And your mother's gonna die.
Yeah, right. Well, and they did a lot of like action comedy as well with movies like I'm Gonna Get You Sucker and things like that. Major Pain was another great one. I don't know if you consider that action. It's not really. Kind of not. It's not really.
You take that back. You take that back right now.
I mean, he's not wrong. It is a mess. They're all over the place with that. I still enjoy the hell out of that movie, but it is a freaking mess.
Well, and here's my big thing with some content creators, not all of them. well, more of the movie review guys, right?
Mhm.
Just because you say it is bad does not mean it is bad.
Agreed.
And there was okay. So great example is I saw there's a couple of people I follow, YouTuber wise, whatever, that were movie reviewers, right?
Right.
So one movie they came out that said was just not great, bad, all that stuff was If.
Right.
Imaginary Friends.
Right. With Ryan
Right.
Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds,
Yep.
Ryan Reynolds, John Krasinski, and a whole bunch of other ones, right? So they kind of just said it wasn't that great, it was bad, whatever. I go to see the movie, right? First half of it, a little skeptical on some things because we're not sure what's wrong with the dad, but we kind of get what's wrong with the mom and all this other stuff, and just seems like a little contradictory stuff here. Gets to the second half of the movie, bravo. And for
Nice.
me, it's like I you could go say with the Chris Stuckmans or Angry Joe or whatever. My issue is that these guys, they review. It's all for content creation. They review movies, whatever, and they're giving their perspective, but that's it.
Right.
Right? They may be able to influence a movie because well-known name or whatever, but for me, it's like not. These guys are not always correct on how a movie will go because it's their perspective to you about the movie. It's not your perspective. And I understand, the whole thing about not wanting to go see because of studio, because of hey, everybody said of like the studio, you don't want to pushing all that stuff or whatever, and so you don't want to support them, which is fine, right? It's your money, do with it what you will, but don't go and tell me that a movie's bad, and I go and see it, and I'm like, it wasn't that bad at all. I gave If an 8 out of 10.
Right.
And it's just things like that where you kind of have to listen to your own self rather than you probably listen to like family members, right?
Yeah.
Or friends or whatever. But there's a line one has to draw for themselves than anything else, because a lot of times everyone's just giving their perspective on something and it's not yours.
Well, indeed. Yeah. And a lot of times people will say things like, oh, this is bad, this or that, and they won't have anything to back it up. They'll just say that and just leave it out there with nothing. But like a lot of times, not every time, because obviously nobody's perfect, but a lot of times when I say something's a mess, I could sit here and talk about it for a while about the different things that I think are a mess. And I'm very over analytical like that. Like, I took writing classes in school. So I know about, pacing and story setup and structuring and all these different things. So when I'm watching movies, it actually drives my wife crazy. I'll just sit there and pick things apart. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Well, because of this happened earlier, the continuity's off with this. And like, I will sit there and pick movies apart. It drives me crazy. It's a curse. I can't get my brain to shut off sometimes like that.
Yeah. No, yeah, I understand. No one. It's when PM.
But yeah, I'm with you.
After they've actually seen the movie. Yeah, and the same thing with Rotten Tomato heads, right? Or is that what the place is called? Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes. Look, it's a good barometer, but it's not. It's not the truth. I'm sorry to tell you. It's not going to tell you. It's not going to tell you how a movie makes you feel. It's not going to tell you how what rating you'd give the movie. It's not going to tell you any of that. It's just going to tell you what other people have said and if it's worth your money. Because you do get influenced by it. You do get influenced by. I think your Mrs. has appeared in the chat. He's not wrong. Yeah. Oh, is she right over there? Hello, Mrs. Dempsey. Hello. He's behaving well. I've made sure he doesn't speak out. He just
my halo. You see my halo?
He drives me nuts with movies. The best thing you could do is tell him to turn it off and take a nap.
That's right. That's right. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, we even talk about that when we're in the middle of it. Like, I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to ruin it. But I usually only do that with movies I've seen more than once. I try not to talk through movies I haven't seen at all. But like if we're watching the same movie, I see how you are. If we're watching the same movie we've seen 100 times, like I could just go like this, like Predator. Yeah. I'm not going to ruin this movie for anybody in my house. We've all seen it a dozen times, at least. Like I probably watched it 6 times in the past year. Like it's just, so I'll go through and I'll talk about different things that don't make sense, or why does this work but not that, or things along those lines. Love you too, baby. Love you too, baby. But yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, there's a ton of movies out there that I would rate it like a 3 or a 4, but would recommend to you in a heartbeat because I enjoyed it so much.
Right.
So
yeah. No, yeah, and that's great. I love the ability to share my perspective about the movie, because you may go see it or you may not go see it. The point of the matter, though, is that it's just a perspective I share. This is not the end. I don't write movies. I know some other people have been in the classes or whatever. They've made movies, whatnot. Even if they've made a movie, guys, guess what? It doesn't mean that that's the end all be all for a movie, because you're the difference. You're the difference right there. Yeah, I'm talking to you watching. You're the difference. Eraserhead says, I love checking out reviews, but the amount of people that live vicariously through movie reviews is saddening. Look, the amount of people that live vicariously through other people is saddening. Mm-hmm. Whether celebrities, whether you, it doesn't matter what the celebrity is, because celebrity's different now.
Well, that's down to the parasocial relationship that people have. Like, they'll show up in a YouTube channel and listen to somebody talk for a couple months, and then all of a sudden they think they know that person, but they're wrong. They don't know that person. They've just heard that person talk, or definitely don't know who you guys are. I would like to, because, I'm not that guy. I'm just some normal person. But if you show up in the drinkers chat every day for 2 years, you don't know him. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you might think you do. You don't. You
only know what is said or shown, but you'll never go beyond. The weird thing is that even if you know somebody, you don't know them. Right. Even if you've been with someone for years, you don't, because you can't read this.
Right.
Not my name. It's the brain. I'm talking about.
Right. So I can read that. The silent E on the end isn't talking there.
No, it says D-A. No, guys. No, it's just, it gets very batty with this content, and I'm not here to say I'm perfect, or I'm not even gonna go for that far. I'm not here to say I'm any better on any of the field, because I do this thing because when I enjoy it. I already have a full-time job. I make barely, I make little money off this at all. I'm still growing on both ends, sure, but at the end of the day,
phrasing.
But I'm still growing in followership and all that stuff, for sure. But I'm not like these people that push like, okay, here's, and it's nothing against anyone, because I know why people do it. But my thing for me is, I'm not pushing I'm at this. What if I can get to the next amount of followers, or super chats, whatever, or celebrate the amount of super chats, whatever. The point of why I do this is because I get to talk to people like you, and Philip, of course, is coming up, and Kitty Flip City, of course, Kadath, yeah, that's right, Kadath is coming up, and all these other ones. I get the opportunity to do that. I get to use this tool. That's right, the internet is a tool. I get to use the opportunity to use this tool in a way that I think is more beneficial than just, because I'm out to tell you guys, if you try to make this thing a full-time job, you better hope and pray you are on multiple places, because I've seen too many horror stories of YouTube, of Twitch, to know that being on one platform is basically saying F you to yourself, unless you're too big to fail, basically.
Right.
And that's not too many people nowadays.
Right. We're not Mr. Beast. Right.
Well, no, even Mr. Beast can get hit, and we saw that not too long ago.
Well, yeah. I mean, true.
No issues with that. I think you should someone pretending to actually seen the movie because they watched the review. Yeah. Now he's bringing out his action figures, kids. Let's see what's in the document today. The letter of the day is. But I just enjoy this thing, and of course, it allowed me to. I don't get invited on shows a lot, but I mean, it allowed me to cross your paths with Ryan Rogers. So thank you for Ryan Roger and so many others. But
good dude. Very controversial.
But
good dude.
Well, yeah, I saw that story. But for me, it's about reaching across the way to whether you're a creator or not, because I don't care. I don't care if you're a creator. I'm not here to use creators as a one-up. Basically, I'm just here to talk to a lot of different people, and some people don't even show their face. It's okay.
Right. You know, I honestly do it all because I don't have anybody to nerd out with. You know, I mean, I got my real life friends and stuff, but a lot of them are busy with their families and their own thing going on. So I don't get a chance to talk to them as much anymore as I used to. So I need that nerd outlet. You know, I got to go somewhere and talk to somebody about the stuff that I think about all day long, or I'll go crazy. You know, so I get on social media and post things to try to get it out. I write music, I write poetry. Get on different shows and talk to people.
I saw your long list of stuff. It's like, oh, okay, hold on. How I'm gonna write this?
Right. Man, I've worn a lot of hats in my day, and I don't mean just hats. Like, yeah, man, I've been all over the place.
I'm waiting to see you be a DJ potterer. So while you're pottering, you're DJing as well.
Right.
Open the kiln. Open the kiln.
That's funny. When the last time I was doing pottery, we did this stuff called raku, and it has a lot to do with fire. Like you would take outside, you would take a kiln that's on pegs, on long poles, and put it down over top of the pottery, and put a blowtorch underneath it till it glows red. Take it out with tongs and put it into a trash can full of straw. Put the lid on, and there's a lot of fire. There's a lot of smoke, and we would take music out there, and we would all make music together. So it was we used to call ourselves fire dancers. There was a lot going on with that. So not quite the DJ route, but that was when I was still playing the analog drums all the time. And like I still have I have a digi set of drums that I play.
I'm hoping this is with your clothes on, because this sounds very.
Oh yeah. Bunch of guys. Yeah, man. The guy who was running it all, he was a real hippie. He was at Woodstock. His kids were my best friends.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was a great time.
Did he ever tell you how it was at Woodstock?
Oh yeah, a lot, actually. Yeah, we talked about that quite often. While you're waiting for the things to heat up, you're just kind of sitting there for a half hour, maybe 45 minutes sometimes, depending on how much pottery you put in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I've never done pottery. I know one of my siblings did like it in school or whatever, so they made something. But I've never messed with that sort of thing.
Interesting.
I'm not too artiste. I bought FL Studio just to try to see if I could make music out of it.
Oh, nice.
I haven't touched it in a long while.
Well, did you? But at one point, did you?
A little, yeah. A little bit, but it was sort of like the thing where you're frustrated by your own not ability to be up there expertly yet.
Yeah.
So there's
that learning curve's pretty stiff on that.
Yeah. But I mean that's what Pogo uses is FL Studio.
Yeah. My son uses that too.
Yeah. But I just it's one of those things, like right now I have my full-time job. I do this, and there's not much, and I also try to make shorts from the stream as well. But I don't really have much time for anything else. Like if I ever play a game, it's not all the time, because I'm trying to do other things, and especially when you get a full-time job and all that stuff. Like I wish I could do more people, but I think I'd probably end myself if I did too many. Once a day is enough.
Right. Well, you said games. You played a game. What was the last game you played?
Technotica.
Oh, okay.
It was an early. What do they call it on Steam? No. There's a special thing they call it when games aren't out yet, but you can buy them at a cheaper price and sort of be like their testers. What do they call it? Early phase or something.
Early access?
Early access, that's right.
Yeah.
Thanks. Dags, like the amount of Andor is bad, even though oh gosh, don't bring that up. Oh.
Right.
Here's my thing. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So here's my thing with this. So this points Andor is part of the Star Wars thing, but there was the earlier thing with Alkali, right? So there were a lot of creators, and they've said this about other things too, right? Like She-Hulk or whatever, who kept saying nobody watched Alkali. I'm like, what do you mean nobody? Right?
A
Oh,
lot
hey,
of people watch Acolyte.
yeah. Well, the thing of it is, there wasn't enough people, just like there wasn't enough
Right.
people to watch She-Hulk. But there were a lot of creators saying nobody watched the Acolyte, and I'm like, that's not true. And so my thing was is that you're using, and this is where my reasoning comes from. So, but the line is that you're using language that has meaning, and you're saying nobody, zero people watched it, even though
Right.
you as a creator watched it to give a review. You're using this language that already has a definition, right? So then we come to the part where they complain about the other side, right? They complain about the woke and all this stuff. Guess what the woke does? They change the
thing.
meaning of words, right? Sexist, racist,
Right.
all this, even though not much of that is true, or whatever you want to agree to that remark.
Right.
Point of the matter is that you've now become the side you complain about, but just in a different way.
Exactly.
Why?
Exactly. And they think that at the ends justify the means, and I disagree.
I get there. We're humans. We exaggerate. We hyperbole. Yes, it's great.
Agreed.
But if you're going to be the arbiters of going after the truth, which many do say, my thing is, then don't use the language that you know that's not true. Oh, we say nobody watches it because it's a business thing. You're not in the business of making movies, are you? You are a reviewer of a TV show saying nobody watched it. That is incorrect.
Right.
That is falsely over exaggerating what happened. What happened was for She-Hulk. Yeah, you can call it woke or whatever you want, but not enough people watch the show. Now, obviously, you can say, well, they can get money from the DEI thing, whatever. Yeah, that's true. But guess what? Hey, guess what? You have a power that they don't have. And guess what you could do? You cannot give it any money whatsoever.
Or attention or ratings.
Well, attention is going to happen regardless.
Well, you know, they're adding on top of it by constantly bringing them up, constantly reviewing them, constantly putting out negativity out there. And a lot of times, so there was an old adage that there is no such thing as bad press. You know, and I honestly think that's how Velma got where it got, was through the bad press, through the hate watching. Like,
it's also a thing too. There were a few. There were. I jumped up. There were a few people who said nobody watched it. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to be that person. I'm just saying there were some content creators I've followed where they said nobody was watching the Acolyte, or nobody was watching. I mean, yeah, some have commented on the whole Doctor Who stuff and point at the lower things, but I mean that's the truth right there. The numbers kept getting lower. That's great. Point that out. But when there were some saying nobody watched this movie or that movie or whatever, that's when I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yep. No, I'm with you on that. I think words have meanings, and they are those specific words for a reason. And if once you start trying to redefine how words work, well, you know, which actually happens naturally over a period of time. But if you're trying to do it on the spot, that is disingenuous to me. It's disingenuous in a way that you're doing it for financial gain. I see no difference between that and the woke side. I really don't. But the woke side has a tendency of blaming other people for what they're doing themselves. And I think that that's the main separation between the two, except in a couple different crossovers. Because, you know, Kamala
there's
Harris's
similarities.
favorite things.
Yeah, similarities, but not the same. But before we go any further, it is the top of the hour. And so since it's your first time here, what I do is at the top of the hour, you know, some creators, they do promotions either at the beginning or they do it at the end, or they kind of do sporadic throughout. I just do it at the top of the hour of every hour because it's sort of like a timing thing. Oh, hey, thank you for that. I appreciate that. On the Rumble side, thank you. So what I do is at the top of the hour of every hour, I set aside some time for us to promote ourselves. So I did put your links down below, but if you would like to sell yourself, and not in that way, of course, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, I'm a father who used music to get closer to my son's zombie main, and we actually ended up making a bunch of music together. and our albums are on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, TikTok, all these different places. You can go find us under the Dangerous Dempseys. We had 2 different albums, Not Quite Sane, Not Quite Insane, and you can find us all over the place. I hang out at SoundCloud. I made all my music in Audio Tool, and you can go onto either of those. They're very much like a social media site, and you can find us there. You can find me on Ryan Roger at They Streams, usually on Friday and Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK. And this Thursday, I'll be over at Roman of the Empires. We'll be talking about our favorite war movies. Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern, and 5 p.m. Pacific.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. And yes, again, of course, his links are down in the description below. I made sure to get as many as I could find, and all that stuff. So if
I appreciate that, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome. And if he's worth the follow, check him out and give it to him. Because I know some people say, you know, go to the person and check them out and follow them. All follows do not equate views.
Right.
And that's what most creators look for more, because that's the ad revenue stuff, right?
Right.
But I'm also not going to, I mean, even if I know the person, I'm still going to be like, look, give them a look. If they're worth it, then do so. But don't take my word for it. I'm going to go reading Rainbow here. Don't take my word for it.
Right.
But anyway, for my end of things, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're on the Rumble side and whether you're on the YouTube side, because I do stream to 2 places, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing stuff, or leaving a comment or follow, anything that helps with engagement is much appreciated, because after all, that's not only what helps me be seen more, but it also helps in having more people on. Again, guys, I'm not just a content creator spotlight thing. I don't do that. I don't do just that. I am a person spotlight thing. I've had people who don't show themselves. I've had VTubers. I've had people who don't create content at all. A few of them, mind you, and many who do create content. It's just part of the connectory ordeal. At the end of the day, I am about having the conversations with people across the table about whatever, because at the end of the day, you don't really see that very much, or I didn't really see it much in other content creators I was following, because everyone has their niche and follow it, but it is what it is. Anyway, any help with engagement is much appreciated, because not only can a follow person who I have on, you know, the connection through them, but a follower can lead to a guest. Right. That's how simple it is.
That's right.
Again, guys, if you'd like to know where else I'm at, there's a link down below. Just simple Linktree link. You can find my other stuff there, whether it be the Rumble YouTube one, Twitter X, my email, or my just DM for Discord one. Any of them are there. And of course, if you'd like to take up the opportunity to come on, guess what? You can either leave a comment on either Rumble or YouTube, or go to that link below, find me at my places, and we can get started. Because at the end of the day, I haven't even counted recently, but I've had on over 100 something guests, and I'm looking to I've filled up since April of this year. I've filled up pretty much monthly.
Nice.
Not the weekends though. I try to keep them open because
right.
But I mean, if you want an example of physically of what it looks like, this is what the rest of my November is so far.
Nice. Yeah, Shagsworth, man. That dude's awesome. He's a good conversationalist. I think you're gonna have fun with that one.
He was recommended me by Jack Tarlad, who I've had on many times.
Nice.
Good.
He's another great dude.
Yeah. Do you? Oh, okay. They're just talking about stuff. But yeah, no, I got him through that, and it'll be interesting to see, because you know, he I don't know much about him. I've only heard what I mean, I know he makes content, right? I know he talks to other people, but I haven't delved into whatever. I'll be honest, I usually don't delve into my guests per se of what they create, if they create content. Mm-hmm. I'm here just to have a conversation with them. Maybe I look a little into something, but it's mostly about, hey, let's just chat.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and he's great at that. He's a very measured guy. He's very astute, and I think he takes his time to, you know, form his ideas properly in his mind so he can articulate them. He's a very articulate guy.
Well, I try to, but sometimes I trip over my own words. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Oh, doggo. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. The my Athena. I love her.
Yes, I do too. He's been on around 10 times so far. So there's that.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, see you later, Dax. I don't know where he's at.
See you, Dex.
All right, but yeah, I've had Flip City Magazine on, and she's lovely.
Nice.
She talked about her and her husband making sort of their Mad TV, somewhat like comic. It's not Mad TV, but it's the example to give.
Right.
But she was through. Who was she? She was through Jack. I think she was through Jack Tarlad and some of the others. But then I mean, so here's the deal, right? I once had someone named Jessica Reloaded on, and through her I met Jack Tarlad, and through Jack Tarlad I met the Real Tomby, and through the Real Tomby I met Yarn Witch, Abe, who else? I've had Hanayama-sama, I've had oh no, I did say Yarn Witch. DJ Smoo. I've had a lot of different people from his ordeal, but that's the thing, right? Like, yes, they're creators in some manner or faction, but I've also had people like Happy Mars, who was my first Rumble ranch, because on Rumble I'm instantly monetized, where on YouTube and all those other places you have to build up to get monetized.
Right.
So there's that. And I've had VTubers on, Zatris, Pixel Kittens. Horror Amarada has been on a few times.
Oh,
lovely.
yeah, like her. Yeah.
I have had Sheep City in on once, but he's a busy guy with Ripperverse stuff, so it's kind of hard. And I've had so many other people on it, but some people's like, they say it's not time. It's not this time. Some people say no, and they give their reason. Some people don't even respond at all. But then again, I'm doing most of my communication through Twitter X, and they don't always give the best for notifications for that. So.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, that's really the only reason why I'm on Twitter at all. I find myself struggling a lot with wrath on that. I have that issue, Irish blood. But yeah, I've been struggling with wrath and stupidity-based wrath in particular on there, where people will think that they can just say lies, and my brain is like, okay, you've got to correct this person. I need to stop doing that. I need to knock it off. These people are not interested in telling the truth. They're not interested in hearing the truth. Like, I just need to be able to scroll past that stuff, or just not get on there at all. And literally the only reason I'm there is to, be on people's shows, people like you, Ryan, Roman, Abomination, AJ, Zax, Prophet of the Dragon, which, by the way, Prophet of the Dragon, I don't know if you know that guy. He's a great dude. I highly recommend his channel. He was one of the first people I ever really talked to when I started into the whole YouTube community thing. Him and Nerdporial and Wakasashi's Tea House. 3 great conversationalists I would highly recommend. Yeah.
Now you're going to make me write down more names. God dang it.
Yeah, they're great guys. I have a feeling that you could get along with them pretty well.
Look, I've got a whole list of people I've written down, because I had a lady named on Eclectic Goat. I got it right, EG, Eclectic Goat.
That's right.
And she gave me a few names. She gave me a few names too, but I also get, again, I there are people who follow me because of a person I had come on, and I asked them to come on. So my fascination with all this is I'm doing something I thought was, because again, a lot of creators just majority of the time just invite on other creators. But from my perspective, I've not seen them tap into the one resource they have a lot. Or they do it for other things, but they don't do it for this one thing as guests. I'm like, that's weird, right? I mean, they follow you. Why wouldn't you? There's trust reasons and stuff. I can understand that.
Right.
Like you have if you have someone with 1,000 followers or 10,000 followers or 100,000 followers, that's a lot of guests. That's a lot of possible guests, right? If you could bring on 2/3 of 10,000, do you not realize the reach you could have? Do you not realize the content you could have? It's insurmountable. It's insurmountable. And I keep filling these months over and over again, sometimes with previous people or sometimes with new people. But the point of the matter is there's this thing I can keep doing over and over again, and it doesn't get tiring at all. and it doesn't get boring, and it doesn't. I mean, there's some people that are hard to have a conversation with, sure, but that's with life in general.
Right. Indeed.
But it just goes to show me, it's like, how is it there are these content creators out and they don't reach out like that? I they don't have to. Obviously, I'm no one you should have to listen to. Look, guys, don't listen to me. Great content, how you do. I'm just pointing out something I found is odd.
Right.
Followers are a huge resource. If not all of them are going to watch you, then why not use them as guests? Merry Christmas, Timmy. I just solved your problem. No.
Right. Agreed. But I could see why some people wouldn't want to, because there's some people who just want to watch the world burn, and they'll come on and maybe wreck your channel by saying something or doing something you don't want them to do. So I get that kind of standoffishness a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think I'm more with you on this one. I think I'm going to side more on you with that, where having people on, you never know. You could have the next Markiplier in your audience right now, and they've just never been online before and don't know it yet.
Hey, boy. Look, I've heard. Look, you're not gonna throw me off with this, okay? I've had many people say they don't know what they'll say, they don't know what to do, or whatever. Don't. Just come on, let's have a good time. You're very boring. Don't just say you're very boring. Just say you're boring, but you're not boring. I'm a low-tech content. I don't give a rat's behind. Come on, let's have a conversation, Slidey Pie. Yeah. Goodness, you people. Yeah. I'm just want to be straightforward honest. Do not think because you don't feel like you have much to offer that you can't have a conversation straight off. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard from most people. I get the anxiety thing, right? And some people don't show their face. But
I think that's it.
Don't think you have nothing to offer, because I'm telling you, over 100 different guests, and not all of them are content creators. You have something.
Yep. Yeah.
No, I get why. Don't. And I'm not trying to yell at you. I apologize.
The social anxiety is a real deal. It crushes some people. Like my son and I can sit around and talk for hours and just not miss a beat, back and forth. And then he'll get online and he'll just be like, Yeah. And it's like, just take a step back and realize that this isn't like a test in school. You're here to talk to somebody, just pick their brain, have a good time, make a joke or two. Just try to, be yourself. There's no need to try to put a mask on when who you are is interesting enough to have been invited on in the first place.
Yeah.
So
I can't tell him. I'm trying to find. I'm gonna have to find those names. They just the list of names she gave me. I was like, you're welcome. Anytime. I throw that hat.
I'm not leaving. I am gonna close this for just a second so I can put my dog away. Just so you know, I'm still here and I can't figure out how to get my avatar to come up.
It's dark. Someone let me out. Help. Help me. No, I was trying to look because Ichi gave me a list of names and then someone else gave me some names, and this notepad thing I have has a lot of computer stuff written down in it because I was trying to study for computer stuff, but I find
what kind of computer stuff, if you don't mind me asking?
CompTIA A+ is the certification I was going for.
Oh, okay. I got my A+ about 20 years ago.
Yeah, I got mine 2 years ago, but it's gonna run out by the end of next year unless I do the things, and it's a money thing at this point.
Right. Yeah, I missed my lifetime one. It was lifetime, and then by the time I got mine, I had missed it by 2 months. If I had gotten my certification 2 months earlier, it would have been a lifetime A+.
That's so nice.
Yeah, I know a bunch of people that got that. I think my older brother got that, actually, the lifetime A+.
What was the name of that creator you were saying?
Prophet of the Dragon. Not profit like money, profit like I see the future.
All right. Well, no, I kind of get that part. It's like I mean, there's probably a place out there called Prophet of the Dragon. So.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. Yeah, also the nerdporeal life form, like corporeal, but nerdporeal.
Nerdporeal life form?
Light form.
Light form?
Life.
Oh, life form. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
I thought you said light and light. Oh,
no. And then Wakasashi's Tea House. Gray. He's great. He lives in Japan. That guy's hilarious.
Does he understand English well enough?
Oh yeah, he's British.
Oh,
Yeah, he moved to Japan. He's an English teacher. Wakasashi. Here, let's see if I can.
Yeah.
I'll type it into the private
Wakasashi. Yeah.
tea house. Yeah, great creators.
Ah, Zashi, not Sashi.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
yes.
Wakasashi's tea house. Great people, man. And actually, the first time I was ever on a YouTube stream ever was on Wakasashi's tea house. Yeah.
Hey,
And
Tubby,
then-
look, there he is. Hey,
Hey, what's up, man? And then Nerd Boreal recommended me to Ryan Roger Athe, who put me on as a rising star.
Yeah. Kamini. Waki
What's up, JJJR?
Zashi. Oh, and the tea house is the other part. Okay, I see.
Right.
Gosh, this is gonna be a lot of names. Well, it's certainly gonna be interesting to try for December.
Yeah, they're all great people. They're great to talk to. They're all content creators, so they're used to being on camera and having long conversations. Yeah, they're great at articulating their thoughts, and I have always had fun talking to them. So,
Question is, can they go long without having any topic to talk about whatsoever?
yes, indeed, indeed.
So see, because when I had Ryan Roger on, you know, he is what he is. He's a funny dude with some dry humor. But he and I have different ways of coming at things, and that is he is more of the structured mindset.
Right.
Because you know he studied all the other content creators and whatnot, and I'm more of just like free forming it because I found a lot more comes from just following the river than okay, have a good one, Slidey Pie. See you next time, all right?
Thanks for
following. You're pretty good at that. Well, I try. I try blip and blop. I try. But yeah, I just you know, we have different ways of doing things, but you know, I'm not against him in any sort of manner. It's just when I go on those shows, I can answer the questions, ask me a question, I can answer it, but I don't pay attention to all the stuff they're talking about because they're talking about 24/7 news type of stuff, right? Like it's already or what? No, not 24/7 news. What's the word for it? It's
pop culture.
Well, not pop culture. It's the hype of the day.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Hype of the Ubisoft, Outcry, all that stuff. There's just the hype of the day. And for me, it's just like we have over thousands of years of human history, and all we can talk about is how a company's doing bad. Wow, how many more companies are going to be after this company? Don't give them money. Simplest answer I can give you.
Right. Indeed.
But
or you know they'll talk about the journalists they don't like, or
hey,
it's like
I've been what's this one with starts with an A?
Alyssa Mercanti.
Oh, that's right, that's the one. I've been seeing a lot of that one. I don't know too much about the person, but I do remember that Side Schooler podcast did try to invite her on once. I don't know if that ever went through or not. But I'm
not sure she did. To be honest,
I don't think she did. But I'm like, I am a neutral area. I'm not into the whole shebang of whatever has been like. So I'm like, I should probably try and see if I can't get her on.
I mean, if you can get her on, I guarantee you'd have a big audience for that one. I would say that. I mean, I know you're not really going for that.
Yeah.
But you would, because there's a lot of people that like her a lot, and there's a lot of people that hate her a lot.
Hate her a lot, or dislike what she does, which I get. But my thing would be like, it's the challenge in trying to get them on, because it's for me, it's just another person who's had a spotlight on. I'm sure, but for me, it's just another person. Like, what if, right? That's the challenge right there. What if, because I don't have a big name, right? My name is kind of hard to say. You could say Dara, that's fine. And I'm not really aiming for the biggest views. I'm aiming for the conversation that can be had out of whatever.
Right.
And if it can happen once, all I need is that yes. All I need is that yes. I don't know if I'll try, but it certainly is a thought I had. And I'm just like, because I don't, Fun at first till you run out. Well, that's life. I'm sorry to tell you, life is not fair, and you're gonna run into a lot of those people. If you know how to deal with them, though, a lot of people.
Right. Well, and a lot of people will be that way out of a defense mechanism, depending on how they're being treated. You know what I mean? So it could be that that person's really super cool, and just you rub them the wrong way for whatever reason, or they think you're coming at them, so they feel like they got to defend themselves, or it. Like I have friends that other people have told me they find to be very abrasive. Like, I can't be around your friend, and it's like, I have no problem with the guy. Like, I don't see why you guys would, but I get it, so I won't bring him around. It could be a lot like that. It could be that she's just, what people say she is. Who knows? I've never spoken with her.
Neither have I. It's just the challenge of trying.
Right.
Because, I mean, I'll be honest. I tried to email for Nerdrotic.
Hey, man, may as well. Worst thing that can happen is you don't get him on, which is where you already are.
Yeah, so, I didn't get an answer at all. I tried. So let's see. I tried Big Mike, didn't get an answer. I've tried Blabs, didn't get an answer. Nina Infinity is sort of iffy, but one of these days she didn't say no to me, so that's something. Life is pain. You get used to it.
You're telling me there's a chance.
Yeah, you're telling me there's a chance. Life is pain. You get used to it. Well, I mean, it doesn't always have to be that way. It's just, I'm gonna be straight up with you. You're not here to have it easy.
Agreed. Is that a quote almost from Princess Bride?
I don't know where that's from. I don't recognize it. Life is pain. You get used to it. I mean, it could be, but it's been a long time since I've seen Princess Bride, to be honest. All I remember is Inconceivable.
That's my number one movie of all time. My number one.
Oh, I have too many number ones, though. Try their friend, the common nerd here. Oh, I've already had him on. I've already had the common nerd on. He's actually coming on this weekend because he's already been on before. So the common nerd is coming on again. Some people just exactly. I had somebody on. I'm not gonna say the name. I had someone on previously. Found out they blocked me. Don't know why.
Well, and a lot of times I find that people will go on like block lists. So you get blocked by association, which I think that's kind of weird. Like, if somebody were to block me because I hang out with somebody who's controversial, like, say, Ryan Roger Affe, because, we both know him. He's done some stuff. He said some things that not everybody agrees with. But why would you block me? I didn't say that. I didn't do that. That was him.
Yeah.
He's my buddy. I'll hang out with him. But I don't agree with him on 100% of things. Like, we're not the same person. That's
I've
not
been
me.
I've been in that same situation about something. And he's saying it's from The Long Kiss Goodnight. Never seen the movie, so I don't know. I've never seen it.
Okay. Yep. Okay, here's one for you. Tell me a movie that other people said they loved that you didn't like. Do you have any of those?
If I could remember.
Right. So I have some like The Notebook, for example. I've had a ton of people tell me they love that movie, and it's just like,
it wasn't the greatest in the world, but I mean, it had its moments, right? Like, it was, I mean, of course, you had someone leaving their husband for another person, that sort of thing. So it's like moments you don't agree, but at the end of it is kind of what took it to the end. I can see that because it's sort of like you kind of want to, in your old age with your loved one, you kind of want to be able to both go out. And the movie's been out forever, so you're not missing much. But I really don't. I'm not sure, because usually over time you forget. You kind of forget about stuff. I have a show, Dexter. Oh, well, Dexter, if you really want to know, Pogo actually did a song for them using some bits and pieces. Hold on. You know what? We'll do this. Godfather, not a fan. Well, I've never seen The Godfather. I just know what movies I like. Give me 1 second. I want to try to find this. Because it was. There we go. Trying to find. Yeah, go to it, please. Thank you. Because there was. Yeah, apologies. Trying to.
No. You're good. I was agreeing with Philip in the chat. They like that
Dempsey
because of Ryan.
Because of Ryan. Oh, what? Ryan.
The Notebook.
Ryan Gosling. Yeah, the funny thing is I believe the story is that they gave him eye contacts to match James Garner's because he has blue eyes, while James Garner has brown eyes, I believe.
I never noticed that. Interesting. See, I love stuff like that. You find out little things. Yeah, I love that.
I just. Oh, here it is. Here we go. All right, this might get me hit with 18 plus, but it's on his channel. So this is the video he made for Dexter, and I'm gonna play it all the way through because it's only like a few minutes. There we go. So this is called Crimson by Pogo. It's not gonna be an exciting song. It's just gonna be one. It's a remix of Dexter 2006. Here you go. Yeah. But I think it's like the first season. It's very calm, very quiet. But this is on his channel.
Yeah, that was Ice Truck.
I had never watched Dexter.
Oh, the first couple seasons aren't bad.
I
It
do
really
know that
loses itself towards the end.
I do know the lady who that was his girlfriend was the girl from Angel.
Oh, nice. Yeah, she did one episode of Supernatural as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I love that show. I could talk about that show all day.
What's left? Oh, it's not that much. But
yeah, I'm liking this. See, this is the kind of stuff that I didn't really get into until I started making music with my kid. But I can really appreciate this. Right? Yeah. This will get stuck in my head too.
And you could just go down to the link below in my description. It'll take you to his channel, and it's on his main page. But the funny thing is that the lady who was playing his sister in the TV show, she was actually married to him.
Yeah, she was in White Chicks and the Exorcism of Emily Rose.
And I believe he actually was commissioned to make this for them.
Nice.
I have to find it because they do have it on their original page. Yeah, I was like, when you said Dex, I was like, Pogo's made something of that too.
Nice.
This was over 14 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, I'd say that's one of those shows that did gore right. Because, yes, there's gore involved in it very intimately, but because of the character. And they use it as a narrative device. Like, I love the way that they set up the first couple seasons. But like I said, man, towards the end of the show, it really fell off hard. That last season was like, ooh. It's not quite Game of Thrones bad, but, man, they dropped the ball.
There are only a few TV shows, I think, that have made that have gone long and done at least well enough. Angel, possibly. Buffy. MASH is another one I know. Trying to think. There's not really much that comes to mind after that because I'm not as experimental. Right. But I didn't watch Dexter because it's on HBO, so that's a cable thing. Right. And I'm not into that sort of thing. But it was just funny learning those tidbits, like the woman who plays his sister in the series is actually someone who's married to in real life. Right. The girl who played the abused girlfriend in the show was actually the girl who played Darla in the Angel series. And I think maybe the Buffy series as well. It just depends if they ever crossed. So there's stuff like that. But yeah.
Whenever people bring up shows that did well or underrated shows, really good shows, I always bring up the same one. Netflix put out a show called Dark. and it's only 3 seasons long. And if you haven't watched it, it's literally the best show I've ever watched in my whole life.
Is
It
it?
is crazy how good it is. It was made in Germany, and they actually the actors themselves spoke all their own English dub. So it's the actors themselves speaking in the dub, but in the show they're actually German lip movements. So
That's
but it's-
German, yeah.
yeah, it's very good. I highly recommend it to everybody. It's paced well, it's acted well, it's cast amazingly. Like, I can't believe some of the casting that they got in this is great. Because I don't want to give away too much, but there would be different versions of the same character who all look alike, but it's 3 separate actors. Amazing. Just great. Watch the show, give it a chance. It's better the second time you watch it because you understand it. Different the same scene will have different context, and it's better the third time. It's better the fourth time. Like, it just keeps getting better.
Right.
It's hard to find a show that's like that. You know, I don't know about you, but I get sick of watching the same thing over and over again. But with that show, it actually is a chance to catch more detail and to see things in a different perspective. So the same line will have 3 different meanings depending on how many times you've watched the show. Like, yeah, great, mind blowing.
The I was just thinking of a show too. Barnacles. I had something on mind.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A show wise.
I filibustered over you.
But yeah, I don't really remember watching. I mean, you know, back in the day, like, you know, the Lois and Clark show, Smallville. I remember when Smallville was a thing.
Yeah.
Dear Lord, and guess how that turned out.
Right.
10 years that thing went. That's insane.
It's Supernatural at 15.
Well, Supernatural started falling off after once it went past the getting revenge on the demon who killed your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when it was.
My cutoff is usually season 5. Like, it's pretty close to a perfect story at the end of season 5, but then they just keep going for another 10 years, and it's like there's maybe 1 or 2 episodes per season after that I really enjoy. And I didn't like season 7 at all.
Could you say that about Sabrina the Teenage Witch though? Could you?
Yeah, I could go on and on and on. I won't.
Well, the funny thing is, I remember back in the day where there was the move from it was back it was channel 57 for us. It was when WB moved over. No, it was when WB moved over into its own thing from ABC, the channel that ABC was on. And I remember that move because there was a lot of different. There was One Tree Hill, Dawson's Creek, Gilmore Girls, Roswell. Well, Vampire Diaries was a little later after that.
Yeah, I guess that wasn't it? Yeah, I guess.
I'm trying to think of Gossip Girl was another one. All these different shows, but they weren't. Those weren't during the move. There was like, I think it was Sabrina the Teenage Witch and a few others. Buffy and Angel and all. They kind of moved with that. But I remember that move, not fully, but I remember it happening. And you know, you kind of go back over the shows and go, what was better, what was not. I think you could go back and do the nostalgia stuff because I mean, good dear Lord, there's a lot of clips of the Teenage Witch on YouTube. But at the end of the day, it still comes back to good or great being subjective to the individual watching, because you could make, like you were talking about earlier, right? People love the what was that one movie you mentioned? The one there was one movie, it wasn't, someone mentioned Godfather, but it wasn't that. What was the one movie you mentioned that people liked but that you didn't?
The Notebook.
Notebook, that's right.
Yeah.
A lot of people liked the Notebook, and of course, you know, all the feels and stuff, right? But you didn't like that. But that's the point of difference of contention for me. TV show, movie, video games, all this stuff. It's just. Oh, that's right. That was
video games. Now you're speaking my language here. As you can tell, I'm a bit of a gamer.
That's not a video game. That's more like
RPG.
RPG.
I know. But I played many Dungeons and Dragons video games, and I've been playing the pen and paper version of Dungeons and Dragons since the mid 80s. And we talked a little bit about that before. even during the Satanic Panic, I was playing the red box D&D. Like that, I've been in on D&D for a really long time.
It's funny because there's another gentleman I talked to. His name is Patty's Parlor Games, and he sort of makes his own sort of type D&D stuff. But he's also a former he's a vet, former Marine,
Nice.
and I think he works with some other people too. But he makes his own sort of type of world building, all this stuff. I'm not. I get what D&D is, but I'm not too far into it because it can go on long. Depending on.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're already going to get 5 seasons of Stranger Things. So we already know how long it's gone on. Really.
Right.
I mean,
right. You know, that was one of the things that drew me to that show at first, was that they opened it up and the whole idea was them relating over what was happening using D&D language, which I thought was really cool. But, you know, they get a lot of things wrong about that when they're doing it. And from a guy who's been playing for so long, you're going to bring up D&D, you better be accurate about it, kind of thing. Yeah. So, you know, but, you know, you got to let some of that slide. The kids don't know any better. And the people who wrote the script have probably never played or, you know, just read a synopsis about it. You know, not many people have 40 years playing a game in it like I do. I've been with the same group playing the same campaign for 20 years. That's not an exaggeration. It's literally been 20 years. We brought it up the last time we played. Yeah. Yeah. So it can go on really long, but I'm very blessed to have that group of guys that I can go hang out with. They're my friends. I've known them for a really long time, and we all just happen to enjoy a lot of the same things. That's one of the ones. You know, we all played Neverwinter Nights together online, the video game. It's about Dungeons and Dragons, but in the Faerun setting. We played Civilization, which is, I don't know, are you familiar with the Civilization game, Sid Meier's?
Yeah, I tried playing some in the past. I'm noob. You know, I've bare shallow level of it. I'm not very strategic on that remark, but I have played it. Yes.
Yeah. You know, we would play those. We'd come together and grab our giant tube monitors and our huge, like 30-pound, you know, towers for our computers and go over to each other's basement and have these giant LAN parties that would last for days. Then we all got married and had kids and had to knock that off. You know what I mean? Right. You know,
with each other or with the people?
And we would seriously have like 3-day long LAN parties where, you know, the basement would be so smoky people would pass out from it. Like, it was crazy back in the day. It was nuts. And you know, then we had to grow up. Now we just still play D&D once a month with each other, you know, hang out, have some drinks. It's like a poker night, but we roll dice.
Yeah. So who's going to get that 20? Hey!
That's right. Hey, and when it happens, when the 20 happens, everybody stands up. They're like, ah! You start freaking out and high-fiving each other. And yeah, it's a great time.
His charisma is plus 99, but his defense is only plus 1.
Yep. Yeah, 3.5 master race, people. D&D 3.5.
You can't go saying around that stuff. People look at you funny. It's like, master race? What the hell's going on over here? Yeah, I play the D&D. Yeah, let's play the D&D.
Yeah. Hey, man, some people get heated about that kind of stuff. And, you know, D&D's putting out a new edition right now. And it's getting ready to come out. I think next year is when it finally comes out.
Oh.
I don't know, man. I wasn't into 4th edition. I wasn't into 5th edition. Like, at least 5th edition's playable. 4th edition was terrible. It was like they were trying to make a video game that you could play with dice. And it just didn't translate well. And it failed hard, like almost immediately. 5th edition actually seems to have some traction.
There was a game that was made with dice, and it was called Yu-Gi-Oh! Dice Wars, I believe.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm old enough to have played Yu-Gi-Oh! With my kids. Yeah, I had a pretty awesome deck, actually.
I bring out the pot of greed. That's sir, that's legal. No, it's not. Heart of the cards.
Right. Hey, I had 2 full tackle boxes full of Magic the Gathering cards as well. So, yeah, from back in the freaking 90s, back in the 1900s. You know,
I used to work with a gentleman who would build Magic Gathering. Now, I've never played the game. I once had Pokemon cards, but I never played the Pokemon game. I tried it once and I was like, this game doesn't make any sense. I'm like, I'm gonna go back to the Game Boy.
Right. You know. Yeah, the video games are always more fun because it does all the different things for you. It does all the turn phases for you that you don't normally think about or might skip over on accident. You know, just not thinking about it. And yeah, it's always better that way, I think, personally.
The ones out of the series for the Pokemon that I did enjoy were the GameCube ones, which was Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon Gale of Darkness. Now, of course, they did come out later with the Switch ones, but it wasn't really free worlding. Not even the Coliseum or Gale of Darkness were free roaming, but there was something about it that the 3D aspect of Pokemon and being able to do all that was pretty awesome.
Right.
And again, the Eevee one and Pikachu one kind of came out and did their own thing, but it was just, you had to be there for that one.
Right. Yeah, and I think the game that I got into the most probably out of the last decade or so would have to be Vampire Survivors. You familiar with that game at all?
I know there's Rising of the V or something like that, whatever that game is.
I don't know if I played that one.
I've seen a few people play. I can't remember if that's the right word for it or not, but I've never heard of it, unfortunately.
Oh, Vampire Survivors made by Punkle, the developer, who's it started out as one Italian dude who was just tired of working at his job coding. So he decided on his free time he was going to wake up 2 hours before his shift in the mornings, 5 o'clock in the morning, and just start coding on this game. And I believe they're referred to as bullet hell. I think it's the actual like game genre, roguelike.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's character unlocking, weapon unlocking, ability unlocking, gold farming, and it's just a ton of fun. It's one of those really addictive games that if you like unlocking things in games, this game's the one for you because there's like well over 400 unlocks now in that game. Yeah, it's a ton of fun. I have over 1,000 hours in it, almost 1,100 hours into that. yeah, I'm into it, man.
Now, what if it's a game? What if it's a game you're trying to unlock? Would that still could be considered? Where's the code?
The job achievements for, right?
Where's the code at? I don't remember where I put the code. He's just trying to what was the code?
Get some more. Where's my GOG email? Where's it at?
See, that was the thing that was kind of a bit of a slap for Starfield, was that only the Xbox got a physical disc, while PC didn't get nothing. They just got a code, and I'm just like, well, that's helpful, I guess, but I haven't played it in forever though, so that's right there. But again, I don't really have enough time to. I don't have kids, and I don't have enough time to play games.
Right.
But I enjoy the doing factor of this. Other than that, I can play games. I haven't played like with other people. In essence, like a multiplayer game. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you're busy doing this thing you enjoy, and it's what it is, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, certainly. I get into a lot of the video game music stuff as well. Like I'm a big fan of old retro games, man. When I first started playing, Nintendo was a distant thought when I first started playing video games.
Right.
I started on ColecoVision, Atari, Commodore 64, and old games. And then moved through and was around for and interacting with the things as they came out. I think I was 8 or something when Nintendo Entertainment System actually came out. And Mario was like a revolution, man. There was nothing quite like it at the time. It was great. So I was around for all that. But then I heard Castlevania.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, man. The music in that just changed me. And I've been chasing that kind of stuff for a long time. So, me and my kid, we made a bunch of different Metroid songs. We've gone through and done a ton of different stuff like that. So chiptune is one of the genres we work with. It's great fun. You got any games that you had that you like the music of?
Well, I mean, there's some of the Sonic ones, but more of the later games. Well, I mean, there were some from the Sonic 3D or the Flicky Island.
Oh, okay.
And I'm trying to think, and I think some from the Sonic 3. No, well, maybe not Sonic 3, but the later ones, like Sonic Adventure 1, 2, those ones after some of the music I
Yeah.
enjoy. But older games, music wise, it's a bit iffy because
Right.
I'm not. I don't have a system. I used to have a Sega Genesis, but that's more my parents that own that.
Right.
I will say the one game I hated playing most in the Sega Genesis or disliked was Beauty and the Beast. Holy Lord, I could not get past that first level every
Yeah.
stinking time.
Man, those
Every
old school Disney games were rough.
Good. So what happens is that there's a berry you're supposed to be careful of. It's called nightshade, which will instantly kill you if you eat it, or diminish you to such a point that if you get hit, you're dead. And there'd be a point where you have to jump over something. And it's right up in that area up top where you can't see it. You jump. You got to be careful.
Yep.
Game. But I played. There was a Mickey Mouse. There was a Mickey Mouse one. Of course, the Sonic
Mickey
one.
Mouse-capades.
It was the magic one. It was where they
Okay.
magicians and they get sent into the world. Bubsby was one.
Nice.
Aladdin was one of them. Hey, Rio.
What's up, man?
Oops.
Yeah, Aladdin, dude, that game was crazy hard. I remember that the lava level when you're trying to escape from the underground treasure trove.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, man, that was iconic.
Yep.
That and the Lion King. It always reminds me of that too.
Never played it. I didn't go that far. I remember one of the games that we got was a Barney game. I was like, that's probably the easiest game I ever beat.
Nice.
I'm trying to remember what other ones we got because again, the Sega Genesis was a cartridge game. The funny thing is that with that one, you didn't really have to blow into it, but the NES was one you had to blow into the cartridge for it to work.
Right.
And it was just.
No, I'm with you. And they kept saying that, hey, you're not supposed to do that. And it's like, what? It makes my games work. Like, what's wrong with you? Of course I'm going to do that.
It's magic. Shut up.
That's right.
Now you
say those systems didn't even have my favorite game of all time. My favorite game of all time, I would have to say, is probably Symphony of the Night, Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh, okay, Castlevania.
Yeah. Oh, wow, man. It's one of those the side-scrolling, or not side-scrolling, but 2D back and forth Metroidvania with RPG elements in it. And it's in the horror genre because it's vampires. There's Medusa, the mummies, the Frankenstein's monster, turning into a werewolf, turning into a poison cloud, all this other stuff. And you have to go around and unlock the castle, and yeah, it's amazing. What a great game.
Yeah. One of the
Great
games. Oh goodness. Yeah. There was a game. I don't know. It was an oldie game. I'll have to go back for a later time. I can't remember the game I used to play, but I mean, I've played again a Steam. Steam has not been that great for me because I have over 200 games.
Right.
Or Epic. I've bought games through Epic. And it just goes to show you how much of a consumeristic of a product even games are now. I mean, of course they were back then too, but they're more digital now. Like you don't really, unless they do like those special bundle deals where you can buy all this extra special stuff that was probably made in China. Will break later.
Right.
Let me get this
WeChat special.
Yeah, let me just get this nice figurine statue, and it completely broke in my hand. Dang. Oh my goodness! I just,
awesome.
I can't, I can't with those. But yeah, it's gaming can be a nice relaxing time, whether it's by yourself or with friends. But there's a time where you have to choose between real life stuff and relaxation, and that's on any scale. I think with any form of what we consider escapism, right? Whether it be a TV show, a game, or some sort of event that you might get hurt yourself at with, flag football or something like that.
Right.
Soccer, rugby. People want to play rugby, right? I'll beat each other up.
That's right. Hey, nothing wrong with that every now and then. I mean, you know, I was when I was in school, I played soccer, basketball, baseball, and not, you know, obviously not all at the same time.
Right.
I did wrestling. I was a boxer. I did martial arts stuff. I did a lot of weightlifting.
Right.
So I was in on that kind of stuff, and it was a great release for my energy to come out in a constructive way. Because when, like, I don't know what it was like for you, but when I was growing up, man, I was just constantly, let's go, and it was just a way for me to get that out. And I ended up, as I got older, channeling that over into music and poetry and art, drawing, making pottery, things of this nature. So I think it's great for people to have that release, to get it out in a way that's legal, you know, and non-harmful to the people around them, or at least non-harmful to the people who aren't consenting to the actual action itself, like in boxing or wrestling or things like that.
Look, fireworks only hurt the one time, and then you can't touch them.
That's awesome. I like that. I may have to
Where'd
use
my
that.
left hand go? Oh, that's right.
Oh, man.
Mom,
That's right. Get my hook.
I come back from the dead.
there
But
you
yeah,
go.
no, it's silly stuff. Oh, there you go. Nice. That's
Right.
that's a back scratcher right there.
That's right. It's telescopic too.
My mom one time she gave us this back scratcher, but it was a corn on the cob one, like one of those dry corn on the cobs stuck to a wooden pole, and you just use it. Of course, when it leaves like stuff behind, you're like, I don't think this is the best back scratcher ever. When you have to vacuum after it, and you're like, there it's shedding again after I scratch myself.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
Hey man, the old school people, they were something different. They're from a different breed.
That is true. That is very true. There's a lot of differences in that.
Yeah. So I'm Gen X, so I get it. My dad was born in 43.
Yeah.
Like, so he was before the boomers. My dad was born before the boomer generation. And they don't make guys like that anymore. You know?
But he would have been born what? After or during the beginning of Pearl Harbor? It was 43.
That was after. I think 43 was the year that we dropped them.
No, 45 is when we dropped.
45 when? Okay.
45 is when we dropped the atomic bombs.
I think that he was alive at that one. Let me look this up instead of just BSing. Yeah. Sorry, I should know this already. I think I've only talked about this a million times.
You're fine.
Let's see. 41. That was 41 when that happened. So yeah, he was already born. Yeah.
So he was born during. Yeah, that was. That's an interesting time to be alive. Where look, humanity just found a way to use nuclear weapons.
Right. Yeah,
and
he
they
was
were
a greaser with like the white T-shirt and the cigarette pack in his arm and riding a motorcycle. I got a picture of him doing a wheelie when he was 18, and his bike is like, it's at about a 45-degree angle off the ground. I got a picture of him on his motorcycle on the third story of his dorm. He was in his dorm on the third story on his motorcycle because he took it apart and put it together in his room.
Oh, we're crazy times. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's insane. Hey, Rocky, come on. Let's just get out of here. Get out of here.
You know, things were different back then. He went to college and came out of college and got a job and stayed at it his whole career. So he had two jobs, one when he was going to college and one when he got out of college, and that was it.
Well, at those times, the job itself could suffice, but that's not the case anymore.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, he bought his house for $25,000, and it's worth about $250K now.
Oh, so 1/4 $1,000,000. I got it.
Right. I mean, it must be nice, dude. Like, he was alive in the right time, you know.
It's a change of the times, and there's a whole lot more to go there. But unfortunately, it is towards the end. It is getting close to the second time at hand. So we're gonna be closing after that because I do have to get up in the morning for work. Right. But of course, so a few things we do. First, we'll promote ourselves, and a few other things after that will be good. So, sir, do it how you do it and shine like the stars. Let's go.
That's right. Well, I am Dempsey, the drunken poet. Myself and my son make music, and you may have heard of the Dangerous Dempseys, but probably not. Go check us out. We're on the SoundCloud, and we've got music videos over on my channel, Dempsey Drunken Poet. That's without the second E. The first E, there's an E in poet, not in drunken. Go out, check us out. Give us a chance. We've made 2 albums, Not Quite Sane, Not Quite Insane. And you can catch me talking smack on Ryan Roger Athay's channel on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK, and Sundays, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK. I will be on Roman of the Empire's channel this coming up Thursday. We're talking about our favorite war movies. That's Roman of the Empire. If you don't know him, great dude. Good sub to him. Check him out. And this conversation, hopefully, to be continued one day. Thanks for having me on, man. I had a great time. This was fun.
Definitely, yeah. Well, I was like saying, you weren't talking smack earlier. I mean, come on.
Hey, that's what I do, man. That's what I do. Oh, and before I go, one last thing. I wish you all luck and fortune.
That's not what the tattoo says.
Yeah.
It says like monkey butt for rice. I was like, oh, say monkey butt for rice. What is this? Anyway, whether you're on the Rumble side, whether you're on the YouTube side, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a follow or a comment, any or all, doesn't matter. Anything helps, because at the end of the day, the engagement factor helps not only be seeing more, but also having more people on. Because again, guys, I'm not just about content creators. I am about people in general. So if you're interested in coming on, there's a link down below, or go to the comments down below, and you can get from there. But again, anything with the engagement helps on either end, because I'm still growing on both, which is a nice thing. I'm not like, oh, I'm here at 500 or whatever. I've shown my numbers once. I once had to be told I was close to 400 on Rumble, and I hadn't even been checking it for a long time. I was like, wait, what? Oh, I was like, what?
Nice. Hey, man, that's a hard platform to grow on. That's nice.
It can't. Let me finish this out. Any help with the engagement, link down below. You can find it. Both our links are down below. He has more links than mine, but I have a link tree, so I try to make it easier. But go down my link below, find me there. If you want to come on, that's where you can find me. But it's not hard if you're willing to. I haven't had. I mean, yes, in a way, and no in another. Yes, in a way, because I can understand. It's hard to grow on any platform, right? You go to YouTube, it's hard, because you have to do the things that will get you noticed, to get you followers, right? You talk about the current thing of the day and all of the stuff that will get you more notice, or you talk about the high topic, like the movie that came out, the game that came out, whatever, right? I don't really do. I can, but I don't really do that because that's not my aim. But on Rumble, I've gone pretty well, because I've just connected with other people through this thing right here, and that's where, of course, in my Pay It Forward streams as well, which I do almost every Friday, and I go around during the live stream section, kind of go around, give a little love back to all the people live during that time. So it's a yes and no. It's a yes and no, but it's very dependent on the person, because I know a lot of people most big creators who don't want to put in the effort because it's not giving them what YouTube gives them, which is understandable. But you have to understand that there are two differences there. One has more time and resources, and a lot of resources, right? We're not talking like small cakes. We're talking Google resources, all right? That's what YouTube is. It's Google. Rumble, not so much. It doesn't have the money backing. It doesn't have the amount of people that YouTube has. There's a lot of differences there. But the point of the matter is that they're going to get there. End of this month, gifted subs, right? And then they're doing some stuff with low latency for their streams. They're doing giving their creators, like updating their dashboard for the creators, a bunch of different things. They were talking about shorts, but that's not coming until early next year, because they had to push that back for working on four things they're working on. But at the end of the day, it's any platform you go to, it's what you put into it. Basic and simple. If you're only waiting for an algorithm, or to play the algorithm or whatever to get you where you want to go, look, from my view of things, monetization has sort of helped and ruined content creation. I'll give an example of both. It's helped content creation because now people who make DIY videos, the helpful stuff, right? Or teaching videos or tutorial, they can get paid for doing these things, which are a benefit, right? Like you want to see people about cars or whatever. Bad part about it is they play to the algorithm of things. They make engagement stuff or whatever. When Twitter X got monetized, when you could get monetized on Twitter X, guess what? You saw a lot of bait posts. You saw a lot of engagement posts. You saw a lot of things playing to get money. I get something out of it through the Rumble side of it. Nothing from the YouTube because I'm not even there yet. The point of them at those, I'm not doing it for that. Maybe one day I'd like to be successful enough to invite more people on or to have something that looks a little nicer. But at the end of the day, though, it's about this. It's about this right here. Because there's something here that I keep seeing every single time with that calendar. Like, how is it me, a nobody who started last year, right? Last year. And yet I can have these people on and have them come back on time and time again. And there's more to follow after. Yes, every month it's still so hard to bring people on, but I'm still able to keep doing it. There's something there. There's something that keeps coming back to me and saying, there's something here, so keep at it. And I'm like, why not? It's very strange to me, but that's just my point of view. So anyway, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will have on the awesome and bearded Shagsworth. And of course, Shagsworth.
He's got a good beard.
Yeah, well, so you're gonna compare length at this time. I'm like, is it ZZ Top now or? But he's coming on tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. So watch out for that. Links will be sent out tonight because I do try to get them out. So this is another thing I do differently from other content creators do. Some do it an hour before the show, and I do it like the day before the show. Right. Because it's like I have a full-time job, so it's like I want to make sure it's done and out so I don't have to think about it tomorrow. Right. I try to be ahead of the ball game there. Right. So it's like I sent the link to you. I was like, I sent the link to you last night, and you've had it for like over 24 hours. Right.
Hey, I like that, man. That way, because some people do wait until like maybe a half hour, an hour before the stream to send it out, and I'm sitting there going, "Is it happening? Did I get ready on the wrong day, or?" But yeah, with yours, I didn't have. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. You send it to me. Hey, see you tomorrow. All right, cool. Let's do this.
I've been there. I've been in the same situation. So it's like it's more of it's a consistency factor for the guests because. And part of it, I have scheduled. There have been a few guests I've scheduled, and they didn't show up. Right. And that's the part of it. But I'm not going to give up because someone didn't show up. I've got a backlog of people I can go to and say, "Would you like to come on?" Right. Done. But yeah, it's sort of it's that taking the pressure off the mind. It's like again, like you said, waiting for because that was the thing too. Is I was going on, Countercast. The thing with
Leon.
Leon.
Words of Paradise. Yeah.
And Words of Paradise. And it was like it was an hour to the show. I was like, okay, when are we getting the link with all this stuff? And it's like probably not till half an hour. So I was like, I don't do what you do. But for me, it's like I want to take that extra worry off not only myself but my guests because I don't want them thinking, oh well, I guess nothing's happened. It's like, nope, you get it 24 hours before. Keep it. That's the link. If something changes, guess what? We have 24 hours to figure it out. And then, of course, coming in early to test things out because sometimes the camera thing doesn't work with Rumble Studios. But I figured out a way.
My camera doesn't like me right now. I don't. It's been doing this in and out of focus thing for the last 2 hours. Like
it's still season. I think it's just the lighting factor. Like you don't have enough light on you.
Right.
Like mine's. So I have a Logitech camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I have like a I have a Logitech, so you can see in my glasses, right? There's like a little light right there. That's Logitech as well. I just bought a new microphone. It was under $100, but because I got a good deal on Amazon. But it's it's like a Yeti, Yeti Blue from Logitech. So it's all Logitech, and and the funny thing is that there's a program to download, and they can all work in chorus with each other. So when my camera turns on, the light turns on.
Nice.
right? And yeah, I guess some people, I've heard stories about the Yeti thing. I get it, but at the end of the day, that's just a bonus for me.
Right.
But yeah, I have all this stuff. The camera is a Brio 500. The only next step up for the webcam is an MX Brio, but that's farther. It's for 4K because this one can do 1080. This camera could do 1080 autofocus and low light stuff and all that, which is great. Because my first camera, there was no focusing at all.
Right. Right.
It's like I can't see this thing. But no, it's been awesome. Yeah, it's cost me a bit of money, and maybe I can use it for my taxes. But yeah,
Right.
but yeah,
Yeah, I've got a Nishing M3, I believe is my camera, and the microphone is a little dot next to it. So I don't even have a camera or a microphone to show you because it's literally just built into my camera. My camera goes up to 4K, but apparently has a problem focusing because it's a stupid camera. But it only cost me like $35. So I mean,
yeah, the camera I have now cost me like $70, 70 something, because again I bought it off Amazon, and usually they have good deals if you're a Prime person. So it can sometimes pay to be a Prime. But I didn't have that before. I had like their earlier one, which was a C9 or whatever, C9 something whatever on Logitech, and it was 720, I think. And so I've kind of the desk I have now. I use some of my tax return money to pay for it because I had a desk that I had since I was a kid. Hey, easy. How you doing? I had a desk that I had since I had a kid. As a kid, and so I needed to update, and so I did, and it's been holding up pretty well. So I bought it off Amazon too. I know I bought a lot off Amazon, but at the end of the day, I mean, they do one thing right, and that's you have a lot of choices to choose from. Right. So I'm not throwing like thousands of dollars at it like some of these content creators do, even though they can afford it. It's just sometimes if it's cheaper, if it breaks, guess what? It won't cost you too much money.
Right.
There's that.
I mean, I'd rather dump my money into my computer, to be honest with you. Like the disposable for entertainment purposes kind of money, I'll put it into my computer instead of my camera, microphone, stuff like that. I am thinking about getting a new microphone, but because of vocals for songs, not for content creation. So,
yeah, no, I can see that because you want to be able to control the things. This one, this one has it has a few dials on it and stuff, but the program you can download it for or download with it, which is free. You can what is it? You can get these different presets or whatever, like compressors and whatnot with it. I mean, you don't need like a soundboard or whatever because I know some people get like those huge dash soundboards.
Right.
I don't know what you guys do for you, but sometimes less is more. If you can do with less, sometimes you're better off.
Right.
Let's say if you had to bug out, could you bug out within the next 15 to 30 minutes with your stuff? If you can't, then if you can't do it with, I mean, if it's hard to go lower, then that's fine. But I mean, you do what's best for you. But it's just that thing to think of. But I really took on. But there was one thing I bought that I really wanted to get, and this is made by, if you ever go watch their channel, it's called Hacksmith Industries.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a group that are actually making a lightsaber. So
nice.
So
like a real deal one, not like the toy one. Like real a real. Okay.
Well, I got the website. Hold on, I'll show you because it's something to behold.
Because I've seen a couple different science-based or whatever engineering-based channels that have tried that.
Oh no, they
got something close.
They are getting pretty close. So this is Hacksmith Industries. They have a YouTube channel. You can go check it out. But here it is, the lightsaber.
Really?
Yep. Look at it. It's a plasma. It's a what was it?
I'm not seeing a picture if there's supposed to be an image of it.
Oh, sorry, that's wrong. I'm showing the wrong screen. Hold on.
I mean, I saw their site and it came up for a second and then went away. Oh, okay. I actually saw that one being made. Yes, I've seen this channel before.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But this
was very cool.
This is their proto one. They've actually made one that's trying to be in a single bit, but it's taken a lot. So
Right.
yeah, they made a big one. They made that one, but they're also making one that's just handheld instead of the tank. But on their shop, which hold on their
Yeah,
shop,
make
you
sure
can
you're not doxing yourself.
No, I'm not doxing myself. It's just the store website. Oh, have a good one, Philip.
Take care, man.
Good one.
Thanks for showing up, dude.
Have a good night. And here's their shop. You can go on their shop and you can actually buy. Where is it? You can actually buy a mini saber.
Oh, cool.
This and for what it's worth, I did get one, but I got this one right here. So, for people who don't know, this is the one right there.
Nice.
Mini saber. So, and it does work.
Oh, sweet.
It's butane, but you could do it low. This is low, and this is all the way up.
Oh, cool.
Yep. And I bought it. I was like, yes. Now it's not actually one of the ones that show in here like that because that's a little too expensive for my thing. But I was like, I really wanted to get one, and it was cheap. But these ones are a little more expensive because they have the look and stuff. But this is all to lead into the actual building of a plasma lightsaber.
It's awesome.
So that's something I wanted to share before the
one that won't explode your hand by just turning it on.
Oh, it's a difficult. They had to build
Yeah.
a clean room to get the fueling right because you have to have a clean room for the oxygen stuff and whatnot.
Right.
So it's insane. But anyway, this is alarm. Anyway, it is the end of the show. Oh, but before we go, there's one more thing. So at the end of the show, I do this thing where it's called questions from Half. Half from Rumble, put some questions in it. So what it is that the guest, you get two freebie questions, and if you're on the Rumble side, you can give a rant to have another question pulled out. Can't do anything on the YouTube side, not monetized. Sorry, guys. But if you're on the Rumble side, you can give a rant to get another question beyond those two. So I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to put my hands in there. I'm only feeling, rock, paper, rock, scissors, and paper, and all that good stuff. Let me try to find. Here we go. Here's the first one. All right, let's see what it says. It says, do you prefer tea or coffee?
Coffee. Definitely. And I also no sugar, only cream. No sugar, only cream.
No sugar, only cream. Well, he's got enough. He's got enough sugar at home. That's right, Miss Dempsey.
That's right. That's right. But no, I prefer my sugar to be much more processed and terrible for me.
Oh. Now, see, there is a soda I do drink. It's a prebiotic soda, but it has less than. It says this one has 5 grams of sugar.
Oh, okay.
It's like, it's not cheap. I mean, it's like it was like $2.50 something per can, but I mean, for the health benefits, you can't put a price on that.
Right.
But
well,
that's
the probiotics help with digestive health, right?
Yeah. Well, there's prebiotics and probiotics.
Okay.
So there's a soda that actually. It's funny because there's a soda because I bought it from Kroger. There's a soda that actually does both prebiotics and probiotics in one can. So that was funny. But yes, I know it's a little more expensive, but health is health at the end of the day, and I'd rather have that than anything else.
Yeah, agreed.
It's just don't have too many.
Right.
It's like drinking unsweetened cranberry juice.
Oh.
Sometimes you gotta stop.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta. There's a point.
Yeah, I really do like that stuff too.
I once drank a half regular jug of cranberry juice in one sitting. No. You want to know what a natural laxative is? Either drink a half bit of apple juice or drink a half bit of cranberry juice. You'll find out real soon.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had my kids would like go down on some freaking applesauce like that, and they would just come at it and just eat a whole bunch. And I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. It's gonna upset your stomach.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. Mm-hmm. And then wait a couple hours. Dad, you were right. Oh, God, no.
It It won't stop. It won't stop.
Right. Like, now you're a human marker because you decided to not listen to me. So good job.
You have left yourself undefendable. A man can now kill you.
That's right. All your teepees belong to us.
Yeah. Here's the here's the next one. This one is, what's the weirdest dream you've ever had?
Okay, the weirdest dream I've ever had, and I remember it very clearly, was I believe they were referred to as lucid dreams, where you feel like you have some type of control. You feel like you're in it, and it's extremely vivid. And it was when I was younger. I think I was around 11 or 12, in there somewhere. And I was terrified of Freddy Krueger. I had a hard time sleeping at night. There had to be a light on. I remember waking up at least for a year. I would have this dream almost every other night or so, not quite every night. But it was always me going into my backyard, and there was a tower into the ground. It was like a spiral staircase down into this tower, and there were chains hanging down into the middle, into the open area. And at the very bottom, there was a person on the chains who was like a mix between Casey Jones from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Freddy Krueger, maybe a little bit of Michael Myers in there. It was very off-putting, very not quite horror, because I wasn't terrified of this thing, but I remember it making me feel weird. And he would speak to me, and before I had a chance to respond, I would always wake up. And it was extremely vivid. Like I would have to walk down these stairs. And I felt like if I were to go over the edge, like it would have been me going over the edge, not a dream of me. It was very surreal is a real good way to put it. I was in it, and I remember it real clearly. I remember the way it smelled in my dream. I remember the way the guy looked at me. I remember how his voice sounded. That was crazy. And it happened to me over and over and over again.
I think the best way to get over that is by replacing Freddy Krueger with Scary Terry from Rick and Morty. I'm going after you.
Oh, like when they gave him the pants. Oh, yeah, I love that one.
No stressing out, no stressing out there, Scary Terry. We're here for you. Got your pants, dog.
Hey, I made a freaking Rick and Morty song with my kid. Called it OGs. Yeah.
Amazing stuff. In a game or something. Well, possibly he has a lot of talents behind him. The one that always got me as a kid was falling. Like falling through the night sky or whatever. You wake up and you felt like you fall. That's the ones I remember.
Like you jerk awake. Like,
you jerk awake and it's and then there would be dreams like a premonition of something to happen, but it wasn't, it almost, when the moment came, it almost feel like deja vu or something.
Yeah.
Those are really, I don't really have much dreams anymore. But then again, I probably don't eat healthy. Probably don't eat. No, it's just my thing. Ooh. My little thing fell.
Okay. It sounded like some liquid, like you spilled a cup of water or something.
Well, I mean, if butane is a liquid, sure, yeah. Just don't want to combust myself.
Right.
But yeah, no, that weirdest dream would just be a dream where it felt like it looked real, but you weren't sure about it, and then it later came out. Oh, it was like not always, but there'd be times where just like the exact moment came. I was like, I felt like I dreamed about that, but you weren't really sure.
Right.
So, but anyway, that is the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, thank you so much, Dempsey. You are always welcome to come back on.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Of
course, because I always say that to my guests, because it's not just a one-timer. Again, I've had Jack Tarlett like 10 times, and then Tommy a few times, and so many others, Yarnies a few times. There's so many people I've had on multiple times. It's never the end, because a conversation go anywhere. And for almost 2.5 hours, you saw that, because Dempsey's just got a lot to work with, right? If you saw his bio, you'd be like, dang it. But anyway, no, you're always welcome to come back. And of course, I've got a lot of people to hit up for next month, so it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I'm
and likewise,
I want to nerd out on butane. Well, it's too late, Steve. Too late. Too late. You came at the end of the road.
You could always catch the rewatch.
That's true.
Leave
You
a
can always
comment
hit
after the stream. Make sure you hit the like button.
Yeah, all the good stuff,
Oh.
all that engagement stuff. Because at the end of the day, guess what? You never know if you'll end up on this show yourself. So there you go. But anyway, guys, as always. Oh, and again, 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow with Shagsworth. But
You there?
yeah. Come on. Oh, I am at the end. Okay. As always, and of course, again, if you want to check out Pogo stuff, the link is down in the description below. He's made a lot of pretty cool things. And the reason why I use this stuff is one, I enjoy it, and two, because I don't get a copyright strike on YouTube. So there's that. I just get a content ID claim. That's it. If you're monetized, you may not want to use it, but you never know. So anyway, we end with One Day With You by Pogo. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. I almost said weekend. Your night. And I will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern with Shagworth. And don't forget to mute yourself in your end because it'll bleed through. So hopefully, I'm hoping this will play. Because the other time was like I had to.
Third time's the charm, right?
Lord in
at the beginning.
Lord in heaven, please let it play. See y'all tomorrow. Have a great night.
Take care,
Bye.
everybody.